So a quick word about me. I've been doing this for a long time. I had 15 years experience initially as a technical writer and journalist, and then 9 years experience actually managing a documentation team. So, you know, I've come from the trenches. I have suffered the pain of doing this kind of work. Many of the documents that I've produced have won awards, and I've been a long-time member of the STC, and I'm also an independent member of the OASIS DITA Technical Committee. So what is the problem that DITA InPrint solves? Well, it's one that has been plaguing, really, in my opinion, the acceptance of DITA ever since DITA was announced, became broadly available. It's a real barrier to adoption. The problem is that people still want to have conventional, what I call print output, PDF or Word, and they want it to look like what their documents currently look like. And doing that has been and still is very expensive, and it's very time consuming. Later on I'll show you some of the costs involved in doing this and how DITA InPrint compares to those alternatives. Doing it yourself has been very difficult for most small and medium organizations, and you know, I was in one of those kinds of organizations, and I tried for years. It took years to figure this stuff out, and even so, it was also still quite expensive. Another problem too is that subject matter experts, when they want to review these kinds of documents, most of them prefer to review Word documents rather than PDFs, although PDF has certainly become easier to comment on and to mark up. A final little concern is that PDF output, even if you do get, even if you are using the DITA Open Toolkit to publish the PDF, the results that you get are very difficult to tweak. If you're not very happy with, for example, the pagination, you know, where a page breaks, and this is a very common issue with PDF output from the DITA Open Toolkit, even with skillful customizations, you can't, it's very difficult to tweak that output. But the biggest concern, the biggest problem has been how expensive and difficult it has been to actually design brand compliant outputs for DITA content. So what is DITA InPrint? Well, first off, it's actually kind of hard to explain what DITA InPrint is, because it's not a conventional application. It's part of the publishing plumbing, really. It is a plugin for the DITA Open Toolkit. So when it's working, you don't really see it operating. It's operating behind the scenes. But as a user, you do have the tool that you do work with, and that you would spend most of your time with, in fact, is Apache OpenOffice Writer. Now, I don't know how many have heard of Office Writer, but it's been around for many years, and DITA InPrint enables authors and other DITA users to actually do all of the document design, the document styling, in OpenOffice Writer. It's very similar to Microsoft Word in its user interface, and you'll see it in a few minutes. So DITA InPrint enables you to use OpenOffice Writer as your document design tool, and that means every aspect of design: page layouts, paragraph and character styles, table styles, and so on. The other thing that DITA InPrint is a document publishing tool. So because it's a plugin for the DITA Open Toolkit, it can be dropped in very easily into any kind of authoring or publishing tool or content management system that uses the DITA Open Toolkit. And it generates outputs to PDF, to Microsoft Word, and to OpenOffice Writer. Now, some people have wondered why we decided to use OpenOffice Writer as the styling tool and not Microsoft Word. Well, there's several reasons for that. First of all, and the biggest problem with Microsoft Word is that it's unreliable. I still shudder at the days I spent with Word crashing literally every 5 minutes while I wrestled to edit and publish a service manual that had been written in Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is also very complex. That would have made it very difficult, much more difficult to develop in print with Microsoft Word. OpenOffice Writer is very robust, very reliable. It has better PDF support than even the latest version of Microsoft Word. It's easier to use, in my opinion, and I say that as a very long-time user of Word. I did abandon Word for the most part a year or so ago, but I used Microsoft Word for more than 20 years. So, and I have found Writer is just easier to use. And OpenOffice Writer is open source. It's proven, it's well supported, and it's secure. I have yet to hear of a single OpenOffice Writer malicious macro virus. So, in brief, how does DITA InPrint work? As I said before, it's a plug-in for the DITA Open Toolkit. It works with any tool that can use the Open Toolkit. And it takes as its input a DITA book map. It's a conventional DITA book map, an OpenOffice Writer template, and if you need to use the Open Toolkit's conditional publishing capabilities, it also takes a DITA-val filter file that defines the conditions that you want the publishing to work with. So when you start publishing with DITA InPrint, it first runs it through the DITA Open Toolkit's pre-processing stage. That resolves all the key references and does all the profiling and all the good things that the Open Toolkit does and does well. The second stage is it converts that pre-processed file to an OpenOffice Writer file. So it's transforming the DITA XML to OpenOffice XML. And then what it does is it imports the styles, imports and applies the styles from the OpenOffice Writer template that you supplied as one of the inputs. Finally, it exports that OpenOffice Writer document to PDF and to Microsoft Word, and that is the .doc version of Word, not the .docx version of Word. A quick word about DITA specializations. DITA InPrint fully supports the DITA specialization features. If you've developed a specialization and your own custom specialization, you can still publish that those specialized elements with DITA InPrint. You won't be able to define styling that's unique to that specialization. It will use the styling those specialized elements have been derived from. If you purchase our advanced editions of DITA InPrint, those support advanced customizations, and if you need to keep your specializations in-house, with those additions of DITA InPrint, you'll be able to add support for those specializations yourself. So DITA InPrint is extensible and customizable at the DITA XML level, if that's what you need. So DITA InPrint currently directly supports most of the DITA 1.2 base elements, including all the various topic types and book maps and so on. It directly supports all the technical content elements except the gloss entry elements and the external elements. We'll be adding support for the gloss entry elements in the very near future. That is direct support. You can still publish gloss entry content, but you won't be able to have unique styling for it. We'll be adding direct support for other domains, such as the learning and training domain, as we get demand for it. Okay, so now to the meat of things. I'm going to switch to OpenOffice here. So here's OpenOffice. It, on the surface at least, it has a number of similarities to Microsoft Word, or at least Word before they added the tool ribbon. Personally, I prefer this. Toolbars, formatting toolbars, and so on. And you create your content a very similar way. Something that OpenOffice has that Microsoft Word doesn't have is this, the Styles and Formatting palette, which very nicely organizes all of the styling types into one dialog. It's very convenient. And this Styles and Formatting covers paragraph styles, character styles, frame styles, page styles, list styles. OpenOffice also supports table styles through the use of what it calls auto formats. Those are handled in a separate dialog, the table properties dialog. So let's get rid of that document. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the template that is supplied with DITA InPrint. And that template is actually the template version of the DITA InPrint user guide, because we totally believe in eating what we cook. So the DITA InPrint user guide was written in DITA, and it's published to PDF, to Word, and to OpenOffice with DITA InPrint. So the user guide contains all the information you need to learn how to define styling in OpenOffice, and it contains a complete reference listing of all of the DITA elements for which it provides support. So if we scroll down to there, to that section, let's go through the table of contents. So here, for example, is the section on the base topic elements and their styling. And for each one, we have, for each element, we have information about the styling and actual example of what that styling looks like. So as you can see, here's an example of what the citation or cite element looks like. If I put my cursor in there and look at the character styling of that, you'll see that there is a character style that has the same name as the element. And that approach is used throughout the template. Here's an example of the term element, how it's styled, and it's styled with a character style called term. Here are all the other elements in the base topic type, and each element, each of the block elements, has multiple character paragraph styles defined for it. Because for example, in this example here of a paragraph element, it is appearing at the top level in the topic, but you can have second or third or even fourth level paragraph elements in a document. For example, this paragraph here is a child of this list item here, and most people want to indent elements that are at different levels. So DITA InPrint's template has support for paragraphs that are appearing at different levels. So the P1 paragraph style is for a paragraph at the top level, P2 is the next level, P3, and so on. And that same practice is followed for all the block elements that can possibly appear at different levels. So there's all of the elements as they appear with their styling. Here, for example, is multiple levels of both ordered lists and unordered lists. And we have that for multiple domains as well. So here's the reference elements and their styling, task topic elements and their styling. We have direct support too for the machinery task domain, which I think will be really good for users who provide hardware documentation, something which has not been well supported to date in the DITA community from what I've seen. So I think you sort of get, or at least I hope that you get the general approach there. Now, page styles. Page styles are how you define the page sizes and orientations and headers and footers and so on. And the DITA InPrint template has support for most of the elements that can occur in a book map. So we have, of course, we have a cover page template, but then as we get into the body of the rest of the document, you'll see here, for example, in the legal notices, the page style that this has been output to is the notices first page style. And if it were to go beyond one page, it would automatically start using the notices body page style. We have similarly a table of contents first page style, which then goes on to use the table of contents body style for the other kinds of lists that can occur in the front matter. But in most cases, we have, so here's the one for the preface. Oh, no, I went past the preface. Here we are. Here's the one for the preface. And we have separate ones, page styles for chapters, for appendices, for the index, for parts, and so on. The other type of styling that OpenOffice supports, and I don't believe Word has this capability, is list styling. So this is how you define what kinds of bullets you want to use, or numbering that you want to use on your various types of lists. And as you can see here, the same approach is taken for the different levels. So we have direct list styles already defined for ordered lists, choices. Here's some from the machine task domain, spares LI, and of course we have list styles defined for steps and substeps and so on. We actually, I can show you an example of using list styles to change the way bullets, the kinds of bullets that are used in our machinery task. Where other lists unordered lists use the conventional dot, large dot, the machinery task lists have been defined in the template to use these squares with drop shadows on them. It's something very common in machinery documents. A quick look at how table styles are handled. These are done, as I mentioned, with what OpenOffice calls auto formats. And there are, in here we have table styles defined for each of the main table elements. So that includes simple table, regular CALS table, properties, parameter lists, definition lists, and so on. When you publish with DITA InPrint takes a look at the element, and it applies these table styles to the element. If you want to change the styling of an auto format, you simply select the table, pull up the table properties dialog, in OpenOffice Writer, and you can start styling a table the way that you like. Once you've got it defined the way you like, you simply update the auto format to use the new appearance of the table. So let's try making a few changes here. I'm going to go to our base topic type section. Start with some paragraphs. Now, one of the nice things about OpenOffice Writer, and Microsoft Word has this capability too to a lesser extent, is that the styles are linked to each other in a hierarchy. So you can see that all of the various paragraph type or body text type elements, their styles, are all inherited from, they all inherit from the base text paragraph style. So when I change, if I want to change the font used in all of those all of those styles, I can go just to the top level and switch to a different font. So let's do something really obvious just to make it clear. That's a little too obvious. Okay, let's try that. So we click OK. Let's make it a little stronger. Okay, let's try that one. All right. So now you see that all of the styles that inherit from that top level style have now switched to use the different font. Similarly, we can do the same thing with heading elements, with heading styles. So let's go to our heading style. You can see all the ones that inherit from the base heading style. And let's change it to use a different header font. I like Universe. But why don't we, let's try Verdana. Yeah, okay. So now all the headings are using Verdana. All right, let's change our page layout now to use a different size of page. So most of the pages in this document use chapter body. So let's go into chapter body and modify this to say let's publish this to, let's make it dramatic, A5. So now our main pages, as you can see, are in the A5 size. I'm going to change the first pages of the chapter as well to A5. Now it's in your chapter styles that you define what your headers and footers are, amongst other things. And to define what you want to go into a footer, you just click in the footer, and then you can start adding text, if you will. So let's put demo in, and let's put in something, a field, another field. Let's say date. Okay. And something that DITA InPrint enables you to do is actually insert contents from the book meta of the book map. So if you have something you want to put into a header or footer from the book map, DITA InPrint copies the book meta elements from the book map into document properties of the writer document. So let's say we want to insert the version number. So we would go Insert, Fields, Other, Doc Information, Custom, which is where you find those book meta properties. So now we have a version number as well that was stored in the book meta of the book map. All right, so let's save this template to another as another template file. Let's call it. Let's just call it Demo 27. Okay. Now let's test publishing with this. Now, as I said, DITA InPrint can be integrated with any XML editor that uses that can work with the DITA Open Toolkit. So that includes Oxygen, which I think is the best of the DITA editors. But it can also be integrated with XMetal, with XMLMind. We provide instructions on how to integrate it with those things. In the near future, you'll be able to buy a copy of Oxygen editor with it already integrated. I mean, here's the map that is the book map for the user guide. And I've set it up. I've set up an output type here in Oxygen. So let's run that. Now this user guide, I think it's running at about 80 pages right now. And it takes about a minute to publish 80 pages. What you're seeing at the bottom there is the log file that's being generated by the DITA Open Toolkit. And it contains information you can see there about what DITA InPrint is doing as well. So now if we go to the body of our document, you'll see that it uses the much smaller size. Oh, I forgot to select the template. Sorry about that. Bear with me a second. So let's go back to OpenOffice Writer. If you don't have X-metal or oxygen or authoring of something else. DITA InPrint comes with a standalone desktop application that enables you to just publish directly from your, without having to have an editor tool of some sort. All right, so there we are. And as you can see, we have our different page size. We have our different header, different footer content now. So let's take a look at also at the word output. So there's the word output, and it's pretty close actually to. There are some slight differences. OpenOffice Writer's export to Word is I found very good. What is especially good about it too is that it retains all of the paragraph style names and character styles and so on. Oop, hang on a second. So let's okay. So you can see all of the style names that are in OpenOffice Writer are available in Word. And each one of these has retained its is styled with that paragraph style here. And this is very important for when you're trying to import Word documents into other tools such as Adobe InDesign. Thanks very much, Dan. And just as the last item, we'll take a look at the OpenOffice document itself. So the OpenOffice document is the document from which this has been, the PDF and the Word outputs have been produced. And you know, this is where if you really really not happy with pagination, well, you can open up the OpenOffice document and tweak it, and then just manually regenerate the PDF from here. And the Writer PDF options are very extensive and include the ability to set passwords on the PDF, to control the initial view, and so on. So let's go back to the presentation for a minute. Just to wrap up the presentation portion here, because I'm sure you'll want to know, get some idea of what the pricing for DITA InPrint is. I'm going to compare what the costs are for going with some alternative solutions. Adobe FrameMaker 11, an XML editor with PDF customizations to the DITA Open Toolkit, and an XML editor combined with DITA InPrint. Now these numbers for I pulled from the Adobe website, actually, from their numbers that they claim for using FrameMaker as a DITA authoring and publishing tool. I challenge some of what they say in terms of costs for PDF customizations. So I've got some lower costs for those as well as theirs. But it's worth pointing out that a FrameMaker does not properly support the DITA 1.2 specification. It, for example, does not support key definitions, which is one of the most important features of DITA 1.2. Furthermore, it does not automatically generate things like lists of figures or lists of tables from a book map out of the box. All of that has to be set up and customized. So for one FrameMaker user, a new user of FrameMaker, to author and publish the PDF, and just a PDF, not to Word or anything else, it costs $1,000 for the FrameMaker license, about $7,200 for a consultant to come and customize the element definition document supplied with FrameMaker, and that's just for one output type. $1,200 approximately for user training in FrameMaker, for a total of $9,400. Now, if you go with an XML editor instead, Adobe is claiming some pretty unusual costs here for the customization work, claiming that $250 an hour for the consultants, and claiming 400 hours to develop a single output type. I really strongly challenge those numbers. But let's go with what they say. So in that case, it's $1,000 for the license. That's for the XML editor license. $100,000 for the consultants to do their work for one document type. $1,200 for training, and you still need to have. Oh no, you don't need the $500 for XML editor. Yes, you need $500 for the PDF renderer. So a total, according to Adobe, of over $100,000. But more realistically, this is what it costs if you're going with an XML editor and a consultant. $500 for the editor license, $18,000 for a consultant to do the toolkit customization for one PDF type of output. That's 4 weeks at $150 an hour, not 4 months at $250 an hour, as Adobe claims. $2,000 for training, and you still need the PDF renderer. So your total is just over $20,000. If you're using XML editor, an XML editor though with DITA InPrint, it's a very different story. You have $500 for the XML editor license. You no longer need to hire a consultant. You can spend that $2,000 on training and to customize the template supplied with DITA InPrint to your particular requirements. And I think you can see from the demo that you can do that pretty quickly. You don't need PDF renderer anymore. OpenOffice does that for you. And then just under $2,000 for a single user desktop DITA InPrint license, and the total comes to $4,500, which is less than half of what it costs to go with the FrameMaker route, and obviously far less than what it costs to go with an XML editor combined with a consultant programming your PDF customizations. So there will be 3 editions available of DITA InPrint: a desktop edition, which is a single user, a professional edition, which is also for a single user, but which permits very advanced customizations for things like coming up with new styles for DITA specializations, and the Enterprise Edition, which is for multiple concurrent users and also, of course, supports advanced customizations. And we will be offering consulting and template customizations if you don't want to do that yourself, and training. Pre-release versions of all editions are available now for evaluation. Please contact us for details. And general release of the versions will be in January. So thank you very much for your attention. I'm just going to open up the floor here to questions. Any questions or comments?
Hi, Tim. It's Rob.
Oh, hi, Rob.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
I just had some questions in particular around the auto-generated text in DITA. So, for instance, styling note or warning or caution the text, or even the text around related topics, or even what it says for related topics. How's that managed? If I wanted, instead of related topics, to say related information or similar topics or something like that, how do I do that in the tool?
That is actually all handled by the DITA Open Toolkit itself during pre-processing. And the way you do it is use the localization capability of the DITA Open Toolkit. So you just modify those files to change it to the text that you want to use, and then those texts are automatically selected during publishing based on the value you supply for the XML lang attribute on the book map. So is that
okay?
Did you follow that?
So but if it would just be, I wouldn't change the language. If it was English, I wanted to just change the text, I could still do that through the localization?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do I change its style or its presentation?
If you want to change the styling of those auto text labels, in most cases, you would need to do that. You could only do that in the advanced, with the advanced edition of DITA InPrint.
Okay. You don't have any inheritance when you're changing the font. It doesn't automatically inherit into the auto.
Oh yeah. Then. Oh no, it does. It does. Yeah.
Oh, it does.
Yes. It'll pick up.
Okay.
It'll pick up because they use existing styles. Those labels in the template. They will inherit font changes and all the rest of it. And you know, if you want to see what styling those labels are using in your OpenOffice Writer template, just click on the cursor. You'll see what style it has, and you can modify the style right there.
Okay.
So, actually, so I was wrong. You can you can modify the styling, certainly to some extent. You know, like selection of font and so on, with just the desktop version of DITA InPrint. You don't have to have the advanced version.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, I think we'll wrap things up then. Thanks very much for your attention. And,
thank you, Tim.
And have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.